Ukraine and Russia exchanged aerial assaults overnight, just hours after the Kremlin agreed to temporarily halt attacks on energy infrastructure targets, but stopped short of signing off on a broader ceasefire sought by the U.S. New line. President Vladimir Putin and U.S. President Donald Trump spoke by phone on Tuesday, with the Russian leader not agreeing to the 30-day truce that Trump has endorsed and Ukraine has agreed to. The White House said a narrower pause on attacking energy targets would go into effect, followed by negotiations over a broader ceasefire. New line. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday accused Putin of already breaking his pledge, saying that Russia attacked Ukraine with 150 drones overnight, including strikes on energy facilities. New line. The Kremlin also condemned an overnight attack on an oil facility in Russia, saying it showed Ukraine's lack of will to reach a deal, although Kiev was not part of the negotiation talks, and no formal agreement has been signed. A new line. Zelensky said Tuesday that while Kiev supported the pause in attacks on energy targets, he wanted to know the details behind the proposal that Trump and Putin discussed in their bilateral meeting. New line. Putin essentially rejected the proposal of a comprehensive ceasefire. It would be right for the world to reject any attempts by Putin to draw out the war, Zelensky said Tuesday night. New line. Zelensky and Trump spoke on the phone Wednesday, in a conversation that Trump described as very good. Trump said in a social media post that much of the discussion was based on the call made yesterday with President Putin in order to align both Russia and Ukraine in terms of their requests and needs. On New line. U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz said the U.S. and Russian technical teams would meet in Saudi Arabia in the coming days for further talks. New line. I spoke today with my Russian counterpart Yuri Ushakov about President Trump's efforts to end the war in Ukraine. We agreed our technical teams would meet in Riyadh in the coming days to focus on implementing and expanding the partial ceasefire President Trump secured from Russia, he wrote on X. Overnight, Russia attacked Ukraine with 145 drones, 2 ballistic missiles, and 4 anti-aircraft missiles, Ukraine's Air Force said Wednesday morning. The attacks targeted the Sumy, Odessa, Poltava, Dnipropetrovsk, Kiev, and Chernihiv regions. 72 drones were shot down, the Air Force said. New line. Civilian infrastructure was struck, including a hospital in the eastern Sumy region and an electricity system powering the railways in Ukraine's central Dnipropetrovsk region, according to officials in Ukraine's state railway company Ukrzaliznytsia. New line. Parts of the railway have been left without power, but trains are running as scheduled, the company said. New line. The attacks killed 1 person and injured 14 between Tuesday and Wednesday, according to a CNN tally of casualty figures shared by Ukrainian officials. New line. Zelensky said Wednesday that Putin's words are at odds with reality following the overnight strikes. When Putin said that he was allegedly ordering a halt to strikes on Ukrainian energy, there were 150 drones overnight, including on energy facilities. There were strikes on transportation, unfortunately, 2 hospitals were hit, and on urban infrastructure, Zelensky said during a news conference in Finland. New line. Meanwhile, Russia's defense ministry said Wednesday it had shot down 57 drones launched by Ukraine overnight, with 35 of those intercepted and destroyed over the Kursk border region. New line. Authorities in the southern Russian region of Krasnodar said a Ukrainian drone had caused a fire at an oil depot near the village of Kavkazskaya, Reuters reported. As of Wednesday morning, more than 200 personnel were on the ground working to extinguish the blaze, Russian officials said. New line. Unfortunately, we see that there is no reciprocity on the part of the Kiev regime. There were attempts to strike our energy infrastructure facilities, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said following the overnight attacks. New line. Putin also said Wednesday that after a series of rapid operations, Russian forces are now completing the defeat of Ukrainian forces in Russia's Kursk region, where Kiev launched its shock incursion last August. New line. Ukraine currently controls about 200 square kilometers, 77 square miles, of Russia's Kursk region at most, according to a Ukrainian commander who has been fighting in Kursk for 6 months.